Iowa fans, I think you got it right. I think that you've got something here at the quarterback position. Let's talk about it after the stinger. It's Felix Sharpe at Sharpe Review on Twitter for campus2canton.com. I'm guessing that some of you are tuning in to our channel for the first time. If you are, by the way, thank you very much. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers here as fast as we can. We started in March of 2021. We're a college fantasy football company. That's all we talk about here, by the way, 24/7, 365. If that's something that you would be interested in, go ahead and check out the Campus Canton podcast feed. Iowa fans, we don't really talk about you that often because in years past, in recent seasons, we haven't had much to talk about you. Now, the exception being Caleb Johnson, of course. Last year, he was the RB2 in college fantasy. Tyler Goodson at one time was a guy that we really liked. Luke Lachey this year was going to go to the East-West Shrine Bowl. We kind of liked him, but it's definitely at the quarterback position. I'm trying to think of the last time we've highlighted, and off the top of my head, I mean, I'm going back to the Brad Banks days when I was in high school that we really talked about an Iowa quarterback as someone that you needed to consider as far as college fantasy goes. So, but of course, yesterday or whenever you're watching this, you guys get Mark Gronowski from South Dakota State. A veteran player, 4-year player, over 10,000 passing yards, nearly 1,700 rushing yards. This is the best quarterback that you've had in recent memory. Now, I know you bring in Hank Brown. I'm guessing that that's going to be a competition going into the spring. But I think the veteran, Gronowski, who's been around a long time, he's going to be the guy that gets the call. And his skill set, quite frankly, is something that Tim Lester can build around. I mean, you got Kamari Moulton coming back. Luke Lachey makes the jump. Addison Estranja, am I pronouncing that right? He's going to be your tight end. The question is who's going to be the number one wide receiver? I'm looking at the Music City Bowl. Jarrett Bowie. Jarrett Bowie is probably going to be your number one wide receiver. It probably doesn't matter, though, because I think that the offense is going to revolve around Mark Gronowski, who you actually just hired in the rushing game and in the passing game. And if you think about from a fantasy perspective, the quarterbacks who stand out are the ones who have their own orbit in the offense. Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. Avery Johnson at Kansas State. Sam Levitt at Arizona State. I think that Gronowski, based on his skill set, could be that type of player for you all this year. I am worried about what's on the outside. The funny thing is like I grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We would go to Western Michigan University games when Tim Lester was the quarterback in my hometown in Kalamazoo, throwing the ball to Steve Neal from Benton Harbor. Steve Neal, I think, had a short NFL career with like the Packers or somebody like that. So Caleb Johnson last year, the surprise. You bring back your freshman, I guess, sophomore in Kamari Moulton, and we got to figure out what it's going to be on the outside. But from my perspective, Gronowski is I'm trying to think of like a better quarterback that you all have had recently, and I can't think of one. So I think that he's the best, and he offers the dual threat ability. College football, the Big Ten, is a little bit better when Iowa can produce offensive points, and I think that you will this year. Let me know what you all think in the comments. And I specifically need to know, who do you expect to be on the outside? I mean, you guys have had, Amir Smith, Marset, Tyrone Tracy. I like Tyrone Tracy. when he was at Iowa. Tyrone Tracy was a wide receiver there at Iowa, and I had him rostered in a few places. So who is it going to be on the outside? Let me know what you think about the offense overall, about Mark Gronowski in the comments. And again, help us get to 5,000 subscribers. All right. Peace.